Well, this week we heard from Jaylen Warren of the Steelers. He was on Cam Hayward's podcast, and he said that the Steelers were thinking possibly that quarterback Justin Fields could be a kick returner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with special teams, that he could be out there.
So that means he's not starting.
That's exactly what I thought of first.
Right.
I was like, so this means you don't have a quarterback dilemma. This means you're not going to have competition.
Exactly.
This means you're trying to figure things out outside of him being a quarterback alongside Russell Wilson.
Right.
Now, there are new rules with the kickoff coming into play.
A lot safer.
A lot safer, which obviously is a big reason as to maybe why even entertain this idea. But I thought not just that, what you said of like, oh, you guys are just trying to not have a quarterback dilemma. This is what you're. But I also thought, okay, if Justin Fields is cool with it, if he genuinely is like, yeah, I'll give it a go, then what's the problem, right?
Yeah.
But would you feel like that? Do you think he feels like I'm going to ask you because you have the perspective of the professional athlete here. How would you have handled something like that?
Well, I think it's the discussions that are going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, right? If there isn't a quarterback controversy and he doesn't really have a legitimate shot of competing for that starting job in year one, he has a great example of a team using a similar player as him in Pittsburgh with the Slash and Cordell Stewart, right? So he can look at that if he wants to be a team player and contribute and not be on the sideline holding the clipboard the whole time as not being the starter, then kick return, running back, receiver, like all the things you can do to play. Now, if he's going there to actually compete for the starting job, there's no way he's going to be even considered for that. So, no, me personally, I wouldn't do that if I was him because I wouldn't risk myself of being injured. But if he's not going to be the quarterback and he wants to play, then there you go.
Yeah, it seems a little bit like a messy situation for him to decide that. Because like you just said, if I want to play, if I want action out on the field, and you know that you're not going to get in any unless barring maybe an injury, and nobody's hoping for that. I'm just what happens, right? In the NFL. What I also would not want to be taken out of that position because I would be scared of injury and also scared of like maybe not being in full quarterback mode, right? Because even if you're the backup, even if you're on the sideline, you're still in quarterback mode.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that change your mentality and like going in and day out if all of a sudden you're going to be returning the ball? And listen, he'd probably be the fastest guy out there.
Oh,
he would probably do damage. Well. Yes.
Yeah. But what that does is sets a bad precedent as well.
Yes.
It tells other teams that you're willing to do that as well. And so being a number one quarterback in the NFL is probably over with if he accepts that role. So for me, if I was giving him advice and he was listening, I would tell him that. Number one, if you believe you're a quarterback, which he does, and that happened in college for him, right? He started out at Georgia, didn't get the chance, he left, went to Ohio State, right? Played quarterback. And, at Georgia, they wanted him to do some of this same stuff, and he didn't do it. So if you're going to stick to that script and really own being that QB1, do not put yourself in this position because it shows other teams that you're willing to do that as well.
I do not disagree with you. What do you think then the Steelers had in mind when they brought in Justin Fields?
I think they brought
knowing this now, right?
Yeah. I think they brought in him to compete.
Okay.
Obviously, he wasn't going to be QB1 even to start with because they had other plans, contingency plans, right? But now, when you get Russell Wilson in there and you know he's at the end of his career, you're going to give him the first shot. That's just kind of how it works a lot of the times, especially coming from two different situations where two quarterbacks didn't work at their other place. You're going to give the one the chance first who has a little bit more seniority and has proven to be a winner. And that's just how it goes with the NFL. But like I said, it really falls back to Justin Fields in this. Doesn't matter what their plan was for you. If you want to be that guy, stick to being that guy.
Yeah, but that sucks, right? If you want to go out there and you want to play and you're being told you play like this or you sit on the sideline, that's a tough decision.
It's a huge decision.
It is a huge decision. Yeah. And I think it's more like mentally, again, if you're cool with it, Justin Fields, by all means, do it. But there is a ripple effect, not just for him.
Yeah.
just the league will look at this and think of other players that they can do this with.
I was just about to say, the young quarterbacks coming into the league that, I mean, Lamar Jackson, right? That was the one thing they were saying when he came in.
Right.
Like, trying to have him work out other positions during the combine, he was like, absolutely not.
Right.
And obviously we know he can do that as well.
Yeah.
But don't do that. If you do that, you're opening up a can of worms to other teams that says we can possibly find some of these guys, right?
And I feel like that's already happening because of the changes with this kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not supposed to be as dangerous. That's the idea behind it. I mean, it's still confusing. I see the chart. I see the little figures. I see the X's and the O's. But the idea is like until you catch the ball right, they can't come at you. There's no speed. You're not coming directly from the other side of the field full speed. You're a lot closer and you start running.
I don't even know what that is yet. I've seen it too, but I'm like,
right?
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, you're just not coming with as much force.
Right.
That's the idea behind it.
Right.
Now, I feel like this is already maybe causing other teams to be like, that's actually not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's up to the players to say no. Like Justin Fields right now, again, you do whatever you want, my guy.
Sure.
If you are okay with this, please move forward. But there is a lot of now responsibility on his shoulders as to how he moves forward with this.
And you got to think about this as well. The big thing with team sports is, a lot of times you have to put your individual goals to the side for the team, right? So the trickle-down effect of what that shows your teammates is another issue, right? He just came into the building. He's a new player. You want to do all the things you can to, acclimate yourself to the environment there. And obviously the environment there has been a good one, a winning culture. Even though it's always about 500 recently, they're still winning.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to be the guy that comes in with the, I do air quotes, guys, of being an egotistical player and not wanting to be a team player. So he's going to have to tread these waters very, very delicately.
Do you think it's unfair that the Steelers
put him in that position?
Yes.
100%.
Right? And then it's out and about information.
It's public, yeah.
It's public. What if this would have just stayed indoor, right?
It should have.
It's different. It's different. But now we're hearing about it.
It should have, though.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Like, with all these venues to be able to speak your mind.
Right. Everybody has a podcast.
You can't keep any right. And they're doing it at halftime.
Right, literally.
You can't keep these things secret. So like even if this was a secret weapon they were going to unleash the first game of the year and it caught the other team by surprise, we don't have that element of unknown anymore. And that's actually a big deal with our society in general. Everything is public. Nothing is kept close to the vest anymore, and it sucks.
It does suck.
Yeah.
And it's not just professional famous athletes,
No.
it's everybody.
Everything.
Your closest friends. You literally can't say anything because you're afraid that maybe they're going to say it to somebody who then puts it on social media like we're talking about, that it's just so easily accessible and everybody uses it, down to podcasts, but everybody just wants to be the first to say something, be the first to reveal it.
Yeah.
Like and when I heard the story, it wasn't that I was mad at Jaylen Warren, but in a way I'm like, Jaylen Warren, why would you say this?
I'm sure the Steelers are saying the same thing.
Like, what are you doing? This was just internal of us maybe thinking about it, putting it out there, getting the feels from Justin himself.
Yes.
And now this information is public, and the first thing instantly I thought of was like, oh, so he's not gonna compete for the quarterback position.
Yeah, what do you feel about that? What would you do if you were in that situation? If you were Justin Fields?
Let's see.
You would do that? You would hurl first?
Oh man, that's really hard because I am not a good teammate on the bench.
You want to be in there.
I want to be in there. I want to play.
Put me in, coach.
When I played in high school, I played volleyball and I was on varsity as a freshman. And halfway, like maybe not halfway through the season, but early on in the season, I actually like spoke to like the seniors and I was like, I don't like not playing.
Look at you.
I don't. And I was like, do you think he's going to, our coach, get mad if I ask him to send me down to JV? Because I wanted to play.
Oh, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And they convinced me not. They're like, come on, you're varsity. Like, don't do that type of thing. And so they convinced me. But I I do not want to sit on the bench. Like, that would be very hard for me. So if I were in a situation where I wasn't going to play, but I was offered a different position, even though it's not what I wanted to do, but it would get me on the field or it would get me playtime, I would really consider it. I would really have to think about it. And I know that's not really the right answer. That shouldn't be my answer. My answer should be like, no. But I want to play. If I'm going to be there, I want to be out there.
So so you would say you would do it because of your own wanting to play, not because it's going to help. And I'm just saying,
Yes, no, you're right. I wouldn't be doing it for the team. I'd be doing it for myself. You're 100%. Yes. Because I'm going to be a better teammate when I'm happy because I'm playing.
Exactly.
Versus,
I get it.
That's hard. And I feel for Justin Fields. His whole transition from being in Chicago to now being in Pittsburgh, watching that fan base support him was so nice to see. There were so many people who were so upset that they were going to, get rid of him for Caleb Williams. And so I've been rooting for him on the sideline to get something going for him. And I was happy that he ended up with the Steelers because I thought there was a chance, a real chance for you to compete, especially in a culture that is a winning culture. Like, yes, above 500, but it's still,
it is a winning culture.
Is an expectation when you go to the Steelers, right? And so that's really what I got from that. I was just disappointed and sad for him because I was like, they're trying to figure out what to do with you aside from being a quarterback, and I'm sure that's not what you want.
Yeah, I think, again, if you look at it from the Steelers standpoint, we want to get our best players on the field.
Right. And
no pun intended.
Yeah.
But but Justin is a talented kid, and he can do a lot of things. And so if he's down with it, by all means, go
live your best life.
Go do you.
Right.
But I'm telling you, if you want to be QB1 somewhere else,
you can't do this.
You can't do this.